Hi, Nathan here, founder of Embodied Excellence, certified high performance coach, and creator of the Infinite Possibility video series. That's a year-long weekly training series designed to help take you to higher levels of motivation, inspiration, and success. I want to thank you for joining me in this video today, and what I'd like to talk to you about is just a little of what I do and who I am. But before we even get to that, I just want to start off by asking you a simple yet powerful question. Do you feel like in your life that you could be or would like to be achieving more than you are? Do you feel like you've been meant to do more with your life that you're not yet doing? See, I believe there are so many people out there who are in this place where they feel stuck. They feel stuck in the rut, they feel stuck in the routine, and they're ready to make some changes, but they're not. This is no longer the age of our parents or our grandparents or even our great-grandparents, where there was this urgency that you had to do whatever it took, whatever was necessary to feed the kids, to feed the family, just to take care of yourselves, even if that meant working some really crappy job for 50 years. Because all that mattered was ensuring that your family could have more opportunities than you had in your lifetime. Well, we don't live in that same kind of era. In today's day and age, there's so much opportunity out there for everyone. You have the option to take advantage of these opportunities, doing the things that you love, and at the same time being able to provide for your family, for yourself, for your kids. And so why aren't more people taking advantage of this opportunity? Or if you are, why do you feel like you're not doing as well as you would like to be doing? Well, I've come to realize there are a few reasons, actually 5 reasons that I'd like to cover why I feel like people aren't taking that leap of faith. They aren't ready to quite take that plunge and really go after the things that feel meaningful to them. So that's what I want a lot of this video to be about. And so we're going to jump right in. So the first area, the first reason why I feel like people aren't going after that dream is because they, quite frankly, don't know what it is. They don't have a true sense of clarity or understanding of what that vision is or what that dream is. Maybe you haven't allowed yourself to think up, to think big enough, to really consider what's possible for you. Because that's the other area, is that some people, even if they do have that vision, they may not feel confident enough in themselves that it's possible, that they can even get to that place. You may have this experience. A lot of people are surrounded by negative people, negative Nellies, right? You all know this type of person who is always complaining about the food at lunch, or is always complaining about the news, or they're always saying, well, you can't do that, or why would you do that, or that can't be done. So we all know this kind of person. And sometimes we allow ourselves to be surrounded by them too often, and that starts to soak in a little bit, starts to soak into our psyche. And then we start to maybe subconsciously just believe that, oh, well, I can't go after that thing, like, it's not going to get done, I won't be able to do it. Or maybe you're just afraid that people are going to start to question you, to start to say things like, why are you bothering? Why are you going after that? Or you're never going to get that done. And maybe you're just a little afraid of coming up against that judgment. And I totally understand that, because it happens all the time. And so another reason, or part of the reason that we discussed, is that people just don't know how they want to show up in the world fully. You see, we all fall into routines. We all fall into habits of who we believe ourselves to be. So if Sally is this person here, or Jim is this person over here, and Jim and Sally, they show up each day, and these are the kinds of things they say, and these are the kinds of things that they do, and it seems somewhat fixed. But what we know from the latest science in neurology, in psychology, is that our identities are anything but fixed. And so a big piece of this is really understanding, well, what are the values that I truly hold today? What are my beliefs today? Because so many of us are just running off old software. We're running off the values of the beliefs that we borrowed from our parents growing up, which they borrowed from their parents, and so on. And we haven't taken the time to actively consider, well, why do I believe that thing? Or what do I believe today? And so that's such a big piece, is knowing how you want to show up today. Who is the real you? What is that self, that aligned authenticity that you could show up with? That's that true expression of you in all areas. So a lot of people not having this, they have fear and concern about taking that leap and going after those things that are really important to them. All right, so the second area of where people tend to not go after their dreams is because of their energy level. Yeah, people are so wiped out today. They get so much fatigue and exhaustion, and it's just because they're not taking care of themselves. They aren't getting the sleep that they know that they need to get. They're trying to get by on 5 and 6 hours of sleep, and they're doing just that. They're getting by. But they aren't feeling that level of vibrancy and aliveness that comes from really feeling fully rested and taking care of yourself in that way. And then there's also nutrition. There's so much crap food out there that people are just eating it and it's not nourishing their body. So there's not a lot of nutrients in most of the food that's out on the market today. Unless you're eating fresh fruit, fresh vegetables, there's not a lot of nutrients in the stuff out there. So people are just eating crap because they don't have time. So they're eating what's quick and what seems easy. And it's just not supporting their bodies in the way that it really needs to be. And then of course there's exercise or movement. A lot of people are stuck at their desk and their job and they're just working 9 to 5 and they're not able to move their body in a way that creates energy, to move their body in a way that nourishes the body for, again, feeling that aliveness, for feeling amazing. And so with this lack of energy comes a few things. Well, one is that you don't have the energy to, when you get home, to really do anything else but maybe make dinner and plop on the couch and watch TV. And there's not a lot happening when that's going on. And then the other thing is that with low energy comes lower thoughts, comes lower vibrational states or emotional states. So with less energy, we experience more stress, more fatigue, more concern, more worry and fear and anxiety. See, those aren't the states, or those aren't the emotions of a high energy person. High energy means you're feeling more happiness, more joy, more vibrancy, again, more aliveness. So those are the things that come with that higher energy, and people aren't experiencing that because of all those things that we mentioned about nutrition, movement, and sleep. So what is the third area? So the third area is really people's ability to step into their fear and keep moving forward anyway. To have the courage to do what they know is right and to do what they know will serve. To take those bold actions in their life that they know are going to move the needle, that they know they need to do to make the changes they're after. But you see, we get stuck again in our routines and our beliefs about who we are and what we're capable of. And so even if you have the big vision, it's not going to get you very far if you don't have that ability to take the bold action it requires to keep moving yourself forward towards that dream. And so we tend to stay stuck in that comfort zone, or stuck where we feel safe, where life feels balanced. Very often balance is just a word that means safe. So if we're going to achieve more in our life, we're going to go after and we're going to find that vision and make that vision a reality, we're going to have the courage to take those bold actions. Okay, the fourth area where people get stuck is distraction. So the reason people aren't achieving more in their life is because they're letting themselves lose the entire day to the internet. What could be called browser blackout or you're clicking on all those links that go down the rabbit hole to some endless vortex of disappearing time, right? So you keep going, and before you know it, your whole day is gone. You haven't worked on the projects that you said you were going to work on, or you're distracted by working on other people's projects and not even your own stuff. So you get caught up doing the busy work, not the important work or the meaningful work, the stuff that you know is going to create advancement for you in your life in a meaningful way. Okay, that fifth area where people really get hung up and don't go after their dreams or aren't achieving as much as they would like is the area of influence. So people just don't know how to ask for help, or they're afraid to ask for help, or they don't know how to communicate what they need in a way that really inspires other people to that call to action, to want to be a part of whatever that thing is that you're creating, or whatever that thing is that you're moving towards. And so people try and take things on all by themselves. But the only problem is if you're out there trying to do something big and trying to have a big vision and a big dream, well, you can't do it by yourself. We all need help. And so knowing how to do that is such a key element that a lot of people just aren't sure how to do it. They don't have those people skills in a way that, as I said, is going to inspire and light other people up. And so, when I talk about these things, I'm not trying to sound like I'm an expert and I don't have any troubles, because let me tell you, I know all these things from personal experience. So let me tell you, if you don't know my story, I was working in the pharmaceutical industry for about 10 years. I was working as a biochemist and a project manager. And I got to tell you, that job, although I love the people, the job itself was just soul sucking. It wasn't serving my needs. It wasn't serving what I knew I was really out to do in the world. You see, I had a pretty big event happen in my life when I was 16. My twin brother, he was a passenger in a car, and the driver was speeding and hit another car head on. And my brother didn't survive. So from that moment on, two really important things happened. First thing is I realized really how quickly life goes by and how uncertain the amount of time that we have here truly is, because we just never know. And the second thing that happened, unfortunately, is I kind of went into shutdown mode, and then I went into autopilot. So, I finished high school, got a job working manual labor for a while, and then I was like, well, I got to do more than this. And then I went back to school, got my degree in science, and ended up working as a biochemist. Now, that was what I would call the comfortable life. I was working at a job where I had the benefits, the vacation time, it was pretty good pay, and I was just sort of cruising. And as I said, great working with the people, but the job itself, as a pharmaceutical company, it just wasn't what I was after. It wasn't nourishing me. You see, pharmaceutical companies, we were making drugs that were meant to, as a last course of action, hopefully save somebody's life, help them to survive, which is great. But for me, I wanted to help people to live a vibrant life, knowing just how quickly this life is and how fast things go, time goes by, and how limited our time can be. I wanted people to be able to live an extraordinary, vibrant, passionate life. To live a life where they look back on it, they didn't have regrets that they didn't do this or that, or there weren't those regrets that they didn't have the experiences that they really wanted to experience. And so I wanted to help people thrive, not just survive. And so for me, showing up every day to a job that wasn't serving in that way that I desperately wanted to serve, it was soul killing a little every single day. And so I started practicing yoga, and that made it even more difficult because I started to connect more to me and connect more to what was important to me. And finally I had the courage, which we talked about, I had the courage to leave that job. And so I left and I started teaching yoga, and I also started working in the holistic healing field. And so I learned some really wonderful modalities in that healing world as well that really served and really allowed me to give back in a way that felt meaningful. And then this opportunity came along to become a certified high performance coach. And I knew that this was a path, this was a journey that would really help me reach that goal, reach the goal of helping people to that next level of vibrancy, help people start to go after those things that would really help them experience an extraordinary life, to show up passionately each and every single day. And I was able to combine these tools, these strategies of high performance with yoga, with the healing field. And so by putting this all together, it was really a beautiful complement of how I can help serve people, how I can help people reach that next best version of themselves where they're going after what's meaningful for them. And so what is high performance? I want to run through the 5 key areas that high performers truly excel in. So these are the areas that people who are showing up in the world each day and they're making their difference, they're making an impact. These are the areas that they experience as a result of their high performance living. And it's not a coincidence that there's 5 key areas, because those are actually the 5 key areas that we've already discussed. So those are the areas, number 1, of clarity. High performers have an extraordinary amount of clarity of who they are and how they want to show up. They know what their values are. They know what their beliefs are. And they show up each day representing that, expressing that. And they also know their vision. They're able to apply those values and those beliefs towards their vision to really go in the direction that they want to go. Second area is energy. High performers have an extraordinary amount of energy because they know how to take care of themselves. They know the key indicators that are important to pay attention to. And they're mindful of that. They're mindful of how much sleep they're getting, what their nutrition is like, how much exercise, how much movement they're getting. So they have the energy not just to go through the day and achieve those things that are meaningful, but to spend the time with the kids, to spend that really important time with family, with friends. Because life isn't just about work, even if it's meaningful work. Life is also about taking the time and having the energy to enjoy those people around us, to be able to go on vacations, to be able to enjoy all the wonderful experiences we're after in this life. So what is that third area? Third area is courage. High performers are extraordinary at being able to, it's not that they aren't afraid, it's not that they don't have fears, but they're so good at taking that bold action. So courage is all about, can you be scared and still take one more step forward? Can you still take that next bold action that you need to get to where you want to go? All right, so that fourth area is achievement. High performers achieve more because they know how to have control of their day. They're staying focused. They know how to pay attention to the important work, the meaningful work, not that busy work. They don't allow themselves to get distracted by that next cool story or that cool fancy gizmo or gadget over here. They aren't on their Facebook feed all the time checking out, okay, well, what's the latest thing that's going on? No, they know how to stay focused and they know how to prioritize that important work. Okay, the fifth area is influence. So high performers have an extraordinary amount of influence because they know how to communicate their needs. They know they can't do it alone. And they also know that if they're going to enlist the help of others, that they need to show the way. They need to show that they're committed. And they show up in a way that inspires and motivates other people. They know how to enlist people into projects that are beneficial, mutually beneficial for all parties within that environment. So it's not just about, influence isn't just about, okay, are you going to do what I'm saying? Or are you going to start to believe what I believe? True influence is really when you can initiate or create a change in the environment that is mutually beneficial to all things within that environment. And so high performers are extraordinarily good at that because they have amazing people skills. And that's both an art and a science. And so those are the 5 key areas that high performers really experience to high levels, to a high degree, and they have a lot of. And that comes from, as I said, high performance living. They know the tools and the strategies to get to that state. And so I would take a moment to ask you a few questions. If you're being honest with yourself, what is your level of clarity? How clear are you on what your values are, how you want to show up each day, what kind of person you want to be? What's that big vision? What's that big dream or goal that you're going after? What is that thing that's going to allow you to feel fulfilled at the end of the day, to feel like you're doing meaningful work? And then what's your level of energy? Are you just sort of muddling through, just barely getting by? Are you crashing a bunch of coffee, trying to keep yourself up? Or do you have vibrant energy? Is your mental stamina sharp? Are you clear? What kind of thoughts are you having? What kind of behaviors do you exhibit because of your level of energy? Okay, number 3, how much bold action are you taking in your life? How often are you going outside your comfort zone to go after those things that feel important? Are you allowing yourself to stay safe? 4th area, achievement. So are you allowing yourself to be distracted? Be honest. When you start each week, do you know what are the key factors? What are the most important things for that week? When you start each day, do you know what are the most important things that day? How well are you prioritizing those projects and those tasks that are really going to move the needle? All right, and influence. How are your people skills? Do people look up to you? Are you a role model for people? Do people respect you? Do you listen to other people? Are you receptive to other people's ideas? And so, considering if you were to try and enlist people that you know, that you love, that you serve in some sort of project or movement, how likely would it be that they would join you or help or participate? So those are the 5 key areas of high performance. And what I'd like to do is, because you've joined me for this video, I'd like to make you a special offer. I'd like to offer you a free coaching session with me in high performance. I call this session Evolution Towards Excellence. Why do I call it that? Well, because excellence doesn't just happen overnight. Excellence is something that is a result of habits, of consistency, of showing up in those amazing ways each and every day. And so if you're not habitually or routinely doing these things, taking these steps that you know are going to help you move the needle in those key areas, then you're not going to experience that same level of excellence. And so that's why it's an evolution towards excellence, because it's a process. It doesn't just happen in a second. And so I'd love for you to join me in a one-on-one personal session where we'll go deep with you into your life in those 5 key areas of clarity, energy, courage, achievement, and influence, and see how you're doing. I'm also going to give you some tools and strategies in each of those areas that you can walk away with right away. There's no obligation here. There's no hard sell. If you have that session and you really like the coaching, if you really like what this work is all about, and you feel motivated, if you're feeling inspired in any way by anything I've mentioned, well then great. Then maybe we continue to work together. If it's not for you, if you didn't get anything out of it, or you're feeling like, it's just not my thing, well, that's cool too. Because full disclosure, high performance is not for everybody. It's not for people who have a huge ego. It's not for people who think that they already have all the answers and know everything already. It's not for people who are lazy and aren't really committed to change. It is for people who are committed to change. It is for people who are willing to try new things, who are willing to to have a degree of humility about who they are and then where they could go. It's for people who are really ready to play a bigger game, who are really ready to step into their greatness in a new way, to start to live into that version of yourself that you truly know you're meant to be. That version that is here on this planet to make a difference, that's here to help impact other people's lives, that's here to be that person that others can look up to be that cheerleader, to be that champion for other people and for the world. High performance is for people who want to make a difference. And so if that's you, I would encourage you to just click on that button below this video, and there's a questionnaire for you to fill out, and all you have to do is fill that out, submit it, and then I'll be in touch with you, and we can set up that free consultation. It's a 90-minute consultation. It's $400 value. So I encourage you, if any of this has inspired you at all, if any of this touched you or has resonated with you, then take advantage of this opportunity. Again, there's no obligation. It's a free 90-minute session, evolving towards excellence. On top of the key areas of high performance, we're also going to cover some areas of embodiment. So I'm going to teach you some tools that can really help you get back into your body again and start expressing in a way that's in alignment with what your values are and who you really want to be and how you want to show up. So again, that's a 90-minute session, $400 value. I hope you can take advantage of this opportunity. If so, just click on the button down below this video. I can't wait to meet you, to talk with you, and share what your visions are, what your dreams are for the world. So click that button down below. Thank you again for joining me today. And until I see you next time, I want you to go out there every single day and in your way, be an extraordinary ambassador for humanity.